All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makak Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is gonna be a lesson just going into some things in the world, pretty much, man. I'm gonna talk about the topic I plan on talking about is how people are losing money from cryptocurrency and how people are pretty much becoming suicidal because of it, man. They're wanting to take themselves out of the world because they're losing money, like losing a crazy, they've lost everything. They've lost everything that they had in these cryptocurrencies, man. And because a lot of people worship this world and they worship money, if they lose money, they don't think that they've got anything else. Whereas us, the Israelites, even though brothers, there might be some Israelite brothers that have lost money on this, man, or there might be some Israelite brothers that have lost money from trying to do things with cryptocurrencies or with stocks or whatever, right? They might be down bad. They might be down in their percentage or whatever regarding stocks. But they don't care though, because that's not their be all and end all. They were just doing that for a time, and they were understanding the scriptures of 2nd Ezra the 16th chapter, where it says pretty much that you can do these certain things, but be as though as a person that wouldn't be as a person that wouldn't think they're gonna get anything from it. Let me read this. It says crypto investors contemplate suicide and hide from friends seeking revenge. I didn't even clock that it said that, man. Let me read that again. Crypto investors contemplate suicide and hide from friends seeking revenge for losing their savings as crypto crashes to zero. So people's friends are looking for them, man, because they told them, yeah, mate, like, if you invest in this, mate, give it 5 to 10 years and you'll be rich, mate. You'll be able to retire early, mate. They're probably telling them all that, mate. I've got to find a loophole in the game, mate. This new crypto thing, mate. I'm telling you, you want to get on this crypto stuff, mate. They're probably talking all that, right? And people have been hunted because of that. Now, I'm gonna flip it to the scriptures, because there's a lot of false prophets around here that have been telling people false prophecies, man. And their family and friends are gonna look for them when they realize that they was lying to them. They're gonna be hiding from the people that was of their congregation, man. And what does the scripture say? It says that certain people are gonna say, I'm not no prophet. I'm a farmer. You know what? Let me read that, man. Yo, let me read that. Where's that scripture, man? Yeah, here we go. Here we go, man. This is Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 1. In that day, there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. So Yahweh's starting to make it be known that certain people that are saying certain things and teaching prosperity was lying, man. Certain people that were saying you're going to get rich and you're going to do certain things was lying. And brothers that might have tried certain things like this, right? And I might be down in their money or whatever. We don't care about that, man. Because we don't want this anyway. We did those things for a time. If it worked, then we'd use it. If it didn't work, then that means that what we really want is coming closer anyway. But other people was thinking that they was trying to follow that high value man starter pack, right? Oh, I'm not 6 feet, so I'm gonna have to really work on my gains. I'm gonna have to build broad shoulders, so I'm gonna have to be able to shot overhead press at least 1.5 times my body weight, bench press 1.5 times my body weight, deadlift 2.5 times, and then be able to squat at least 2 times my body weight. And then I've also got to be part of the 1,000 pound club, where I can bench press, squat, and deadlift more than 1,000 pounds in the 3 main compound lifts. That's how people is going on, man. But they're gonna find out, man. People are gonna find out that high value man starter pack, right? Oh, you've got to work you should be working at least 50 to 60 hours a week. All of that stuff is BS, because that stuff's good for giving yourself some money in the short term. But the scriptures say that wisdom comes from times of leisure. So the more you're working and slaving away to live where you live, in which you have to have food and you have to have a house over your head. I'm not saying that you don't have to do that. But if you was focusing on the Lord, then the Lord will give you these things by whatever means he seems fit of giving you these things, man. He'll give you enough daily bread. You'll notice that he'll give you enough to suffice yourself, to where you don't have to like kill up yourself to be able to have certain things, man. He'll protect every single one of his elect and give them what he knows that they need, not what they want. Verse 3, and it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy when let me read. I'm getting a bit hyped, man. Let me read this. Verse 3, and it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of Yahweh. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesieth. And that look at what happened with people that were just talking about cryptos. Cryptocurrency is about just making money. The word of the Lord is about saving your soul, and is about deciding what side of the fence you're going to be on for eternity, especially as an Israelite, man. All the other nations are not relevant to this thing that I'm talking about. I'm regarding an Israelite. Understanding the true message of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, decide what side of the fence you're going to be on, what side of the salvation you're going to be on for eternity. And let me explain what I mean by that, right? Let me explain what I mean by that, but I'm going to come back to the... Let me explain what I mean by that first. This is Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So if you want to be found written in the book, then you have to be trying to follow what the prophecies are saying, right? Be listening to the word of the Lord, be praying to Yahweh to give you the spirit to be able to overcome the things that's coming upon the earth. Not to be trying to do the high value man starter kit. And if you do try anything like that, if you did try any crypto, if you did try any stocks, if you're trying to get a new job or whatever, pray to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And then even you could ask Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, if this stuff's going to cause me to be proud or going to cause me to steer off from the way, don't even let me have it. And then whatever judgment happens regarding that, accept it. If you get it, fine. If you lose it, fine. That's what Job did. He said, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And whatever you're going to make from anything that you're doing on this side right now, we ain't making no money like what Job had. Job had camels. And I looked up what it costs for like what you can sell for one camel fur, right? And you can sell one camel fur for 25,000. So Job, the scriptures, let me see if I can find it, in fact. How many camels it said Job had. Let me see. You see what I mean? So his substance also was 7,000 sheep. Job chapter 1 and verse 3, so like his substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels. So I don't really know to do the maths right now. 25,000 times 3,000. What's that? 25,000 times 3,000. What's that? I don't know, man. I'm not gonna try and do the maths on that. What's that? 7.5 million or something like that. I think it might be 7.5 million. 75,000. No, 25,000, which is what you can sell for one camel fur, multiplied by 3,000. I think that's 75,000 or 750,000 or 7.5 million. More than likely 7.5 million. Just me thinking of it off the top of my head, man. But let me go back to Daniel chapter 12 anyway. Daniel chapter 12 verse 1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So these crypto crashes and this stock market crash and all this stuff that's going on, and this food shortages and this baby milk, baby powder shortages, right? These are the least of people's worries, because people are still being kind of calm, man. I'm outside right now, sitting in a car. I'm not seeing nobody beating nobody up right now. I'm not seeing nobody running up in nobody's house. If things was really hectic that hectic as it's gonna be, I wouldn't be out here doing this. Even outside like this right now. I'll be trying to hide so that nobody can see me at all. Right? And so will everybody else be doing it. The prophets and all the people that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai are going to be hidden in that time. Nobody that knows the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is just going to be openly speaking about certain things in that time. Everyone's going to be hiding themselves. Yahweh is going to remove people speaking about his word completely. So then all the people that know the word are just going to know the word and have the word for themselves and for the people that are around them at that time, man. And certain people might hear certain things, but for the most part, it's going to be taken away. Let me carry on reading. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 2. And the overall thing that we're hoping, let me just say this, the overall thing that we're hoping to be is in the book anyway, man. We're just hoping to receive salvation of whatever kind we get, man. Because getting salvation is better than looking like a fool in the kingdom as an Israelite, knowing that you did not do the right things on this side, man. That's going to be horrible, man. To know that if you take the Revelation 13 and 16 to verse 17, I know I don't want to be one of them people, man. I don't want to be that. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So if you are doing the wrong things, you're gonna be putting yourself on the side of everlasting shame. Because every single time that yearly celebration of the salvation from the North country and every other country that we were scattered, you're gonna remember that you was being a demon in this time. And who wants to do that? We're gonna be in a kingdom that's righteous in that time. It's not like now where people can boast, yeah, I'm wicked, I'm toxic, I'm so toxic. That's how people talk now. Oh yeah, I'm a bad bitch. Or I'm a real N-word. I'm a real N-word. I'm a real N-word. That's how these people be talking. You know? Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 4, going into these false prophets. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when they have prophesied. And that's what's happening with these so-called financial prophecies that these people had, man. Not that I'm saying these people are prophets, but they was trying to predict and foresee certain things regarding this crypto, right? Which I haven't even read that much of it yet. But this is just an example of what's going to happen to the people that have been talking about things regarding the Bible, but they're going to get it worse. Let me read this again. Crypto investors contemplate suicide and hide from friends seeking revenge for losing their life savings as currency crashes to zero. To zero. Not to 0.1. To zero, meaning you don't have nothing. It's not 99% down, 99.99% down. It's nothing. So if you invested $1,000, that's on zero. It's not on 1 pence, 10p, 99.25 cents. It's on zilch. Nothing, nada. That's what it's on. But a lot of these people that probably had these stocks would have been proud, man. Oh yeah, I've got a little pot of mine stored away for the future. Well, not anymore. You don't. Not anymore. You don't, man. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing stored away for the future. Now you've got nothing in there. You see what I mean? You've got nothing in your bank now. That's what Yahweh did to these people, man. He's gave them zero funds in their bank account, man. He's literally drained out all of their funds away from them. He's drained out some people's life savings, man. They thought they had it together, but they've lost like all of the money that they had in the pot. Verse 4, Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 4, and it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive, because people like to wear certain clothing or whatever, right, to try and make themselves look a certain way, right? In the world in general, people do it, But then people try and do it regarding Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. They try and dress a certain way to make themselves look righteous. Verse 5, but he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a husbandman, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. So they're going to say, people are going to see them, but like, isn't that? And he's going to be, nah, that ain't me, I'm a farmer. Or I'm an engineer, I'm whatever job. You know what I mean? They ain't going to want to claim that. And a lot of these pastors that wear these suits and ties are going to be some of these people, man. Isn't that T.D. Jakes? Nah, I ain't T.D. Jakes, brother. You got me mistaken for somebody else. They're going to be talking all that. And they're not going to have had a mistaken for somebody else. They're going to know exactly who you are. No, that's you. And they might pull up the screen and show them their face next to it, man. Now, there's going to be people that try and do this to the brothers that are righteous as well. They're going to be trying to corner brothers off and try and do certain things, but they're not going to be able to do nothing. An angel might drop right out of the sky as they think that they're going to try and do something. Or they might try and punch the brother in his face, right? And the brother's body just becomes like titanium, and then they break their knuckles in that time. Or the brother just gets power or gets stamina to be able to run faster than a gazelle, man. Or more earthly situations might occur. A carnal two-third Jake might see some Edomites about to try and do harm a brother, and he might be like, nah, you ain't touching him. And he might defend them, because he's looking at it from just the earthly perspective of a racist attack, not even to the deeper level of what it really is that they might have been trying to do. And he'll defend in that time. And whatever situation the man of the Lord ends up in anyway, one of Yahweh's elect, even if it does cause him for him to die, it don't matter, because he's going to receive the good things when it's all said and done. He's going to receive what it mentioned in Daniel 12:2 on the other side. He's going to be on the other side of that. He's going to be on the other side of that story. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life. They're going to receive everlasting life. And when people see them, they're going to be like, oh man, it's this guy, it's that guy. Oh, it's that brother. And he's going to not have shame when he mentions that. And also his children will not have shame when they mention their father. And also the grandchildren will not have shame when they mention their father. They'll have honor, saying that I'm from this tribe, son of this guy, son of this man, son of this man, son of this man. They're going to have honor when they mention that. But on the other side, there's going to be certain shame from other Israelites that know that they wasn't on the side of the elect, man. And I've got to say this as well. All our words and all our talk end up meaning nothing if we take that Revelation 13 and 16, man, to verse 17. If we take that, well, then all the things that we were saying was true, but they didn't apply to us. Let me carry on reading. Let me go back to this article. It says, crypto investors contemplate suicide and hide from friends seeking revenge for losing their life savings as currency crashes to zero. It says, Terra Luna crash investors fear for their safety as broke friends demand answers. The cryptocurrency had its entire value wiped out. Oh my days. Oh my days, man. Yo, that's mad, you know. Oh man, that's crazy. I didn't know it was that bad. The cryptocurrency had its entire value wiped out in less than 24 hours last week. Now, let me just get a scripture since I read that, right? Because the whole, like, people will say, oh, that I even just thought that's drastic. And then I had to check myself, because America, the whole country, is going to lose its value even faster than that. And I'm going to prove it. Because America's Babylon the Great, man. And in 1 hour, America's going to lose all of its wealth. In 1 hour. Right? Never mind, 24 hours is long. 24 hours is going to seem like a year compared to what is going to happen to America. Let me read it. Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 17. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster, and all the company in ships, and sailors, and many as trade by sea stood afar off, saying, Salakia, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And that's to a certain degree what people are saying about this stock, man, on a lower level. They're just thinking, yeah, this stock's secure, man. This is a secure thing. This could never possibly happen. This was probably like the last scenario that these people thought was going to happen to this. Let me read it. It says the cryptocurrency had its entire value wiped out in less than 24 hours last week. Now, didn't I just read that America, the whole country of America, is going to lose its whole wealth in an hour? So that's even faster than this. Let me carry on reading. It says mental health helplines are pinned to forums as investors lost everything. Terra Luna boss vowed to rebuild. I will be here no matter how hard it gets. So he said he's going to rebuild, right? Well, let's get the scriptures on people rebuilding. Let's see if there's going to be some rebuilding programs going on. Let's see if there's going to be an architect to rebuild something. Let's see what the scriptures say. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains in his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus say, let me read that again without laughing. But we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever. And I can almost bet, right, that this person didn't lose no money though. This boss didn't lose no money. I can almost guarantee that he got his money out. I bet he's secure. He probably got told to do that. In fact, knowing how Esau gets down, he probably got told to do that by an elite Edomite higher than him. Yeah, crash that, dump it, dump that, end that one. We don't need that. Just crash that, right? That's gonna rinse out all of these people's money. Well, that's gonna put some more people in a situation where we can get this group of people into this and that, because they already know what types of people have owned these things. They've got the stats on them. You have to sign up to and make accounts when you have these things. People think, oh, it's this, what, it's that, right? And this is a further push to try and have these things. What's the word, man? Not decentralized. I think it's centralized by where the government's involved. Then a lot more regulation, make it regulated, so that people can't just lose things like this, which has always been the plan anyway. And if you look it up on the internet, you'll see that there's a link between cryptocurrency and Revelation 13 and 16. The Revelation in 13, 16. And people should know what I'm talking about when I say the Revelation 13 and 16. They should know. Let me carry on reading this. It says, Terra Luna boss vowed to rebuild. I will be here no matter how hard it gets. Yeah, right, man. Just a week ago, it was one of the world. Oh my days, man. These people are good. Yeah, some of these people definitely have done themselves in, man. Because this world makes you feel like if you ain't got money in your bucket, if you ain't got large portion of money, that you ain't nothing, man. That you ain't worth a damn. And some of the people that followed this belief would have been some of the people that own this. So they would have made their whole worth and whole being be in this stock or in these financial things that they had. Let me read this. It says, just a week ago, it was one of the world's biggest cryptocurrencies. Now, that's going to be what's going to happen to America, right? There's going to come a day. America right now is the world's most powerful country. It's a so-called superpower, right? It tells people to jump. They say how high. It tells people to pay, and they ask the price. They don't ask the price. They just buy. You know, it tells people to jump. They say how high. It tells people to sell, and it tells people to buy. That's what America does. It tells people what laws to be in their cities. It tells people what to do. But there's gonna come a day where it's nothing anymore. That's what Revelation 18 is about. It's about how America is gonna go from being a known company, a known country, right, to being nothing in 1 hour. Just like how this stock, this crypto, went from being one of the world's biggest cryptocurrencies to being nothing. And I'm going to read it again. It says just a week ago, it was one of the world's biggest cryptocurrencies, but after a coordinated attack on its systems, Terra Luna is now worthless. And that can happen to any of these cryptocurrencies. That can happen to any of these stocks. They can go from being worth something to being worth absolutely nothing real quick, real easily. Let me read it. It says the financial massacre didn't just leave thousands of keen investors millions out of pocket. It also sent many spiraling into dark mental health holes. Let me read that again. It also sent many spiraling into dark mental health holes. Some so bad they even attempted suicide. So that's what people trusting in this world has did. And let me get a scripture. Because people for the longest time have always tried to talk to some Israelite. I've always tried to talk to a Negro, Latino, Native American about what job they do. Oh, do you even work? What's your job then? What do you do for a living? And then if you do a job better than them, they're going to try and find the best way that possible to try and rinse you out, take you out of that position. And if you do worse than them, they're going to try and be like, yeah, that's where you belong anyway. And they'll even try and take that away, that little away that you've got. And Edomite's such a demon that if he was living in a tent on a roundabout, right, they'd try and take that away. If you was literally living on a tent that you bought from, I don't know, man, some like outdoor store, and you bought yourself a tent, right? Put your tent up in the roundabout, and then was minding your own business, right? And Edomite would literally come over to there, they'd run across the roundabout, dodging cars, traveling at 30 miles per hour, going around the roundabout, and then come onto the island of the roundabout, and they'd start bothering you there. They'd start bothering you. That's how these Edomites are, man. So when we hear about things like this happening to them, we don't care. Good. We're glad that you're losing money. Because all that money that they've lost anyway and that they're losing, the foundations of how they've even got all of these systems and things is because they put us in slavery. So we don't care when they lose this stuff. We ain't going to shed no tears for them. They didn't used to shed no tears for us. They used to be happy. They used to be happy when they hear about our sorrow, and they still are. What was this new shooter talking about? Here's your reparations on the gun. So they don't care about us. And the reason why they're bogging out so much anyway is because of all these losses. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they err from the faith and pierce themselves through with many sorrows. These people that he's talking about and referring to in this article was pierced through with many sorrows because of their love of money. Right? For us as Israelites, this is what we're on. Right? This is what we're about, man. Let me read this. We know this. We know this way. This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So if it's part of our will, of Yahweh's will, to give us money for a certain time, then good. But if it's part of his will to give us no money for a certain time, then that's good too. Because ultimately, if we end up on a chariot looking down, seeing Babylon the Great getting destroyed and seeing where we was born destroyed, well then, that's better than having some cryptos. That's better than being bullish on the stock market or going short on a stock or going long on a stock. It's better to be in the chariot than that. Because these people are going to be saying this. What profit have our riches brought us with all our vaunting? Roughly paraphrasing Wisdom of Solomon. Let me carry on reading this verse 9 again. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. So give us this day our daily bread. It doesn't say make us be balling and have the six-figure salary annual, and have been making it for 3 years. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that we're going to be a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire, all the way up to all the other illionaires. It doesn't say that. Verse 12, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So just how we're asking for forgiveness from Yahweh. Well, if our brothers did something to anger us, then we have to forgive that and pray to Yahweh to forgive it, man. It's not worth holding the grudge and getting destroyed by the Lord, is it? It's not worth it. Verse 13, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So some people's temptation might have been cryptos. Some people's temptation might have been stocks. Some people's temptation might have been money. And some brothers might have lost money on this stuff. And their temptation will be like, man, they had their brain reset. I ain't supposed to be dealing with this. Or they'll just accept the L. They'll accept the loss in a manful way. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Yahweh giveth, and Yahweh taketh away. They'll accept that. Verse 13. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So we'll accept that, man. We're singing the Lord's Prayer because we want what Yahweh wants, which Yahweh wants to give us beautiful things and not sorrow. And he's trying to bring us through the fire so that we can get the kingdom. And there's only a little bit more left. It's seeming there's only a few more sorrows that we're going to have to go through, man. And every single thing that we're supposed to achieve in order to earn the mercy that we're going to be given, if I can even say it like that, we're going to end up doing anyway, whether we like it or not. If we're of the elect, we're going to do whatever Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai wants us to do to give us that salvation so that he can give us mercy. Let me come back in this article. This is a better article than I thought it was going to be. Salakia. Let me read this bit again. It says the financial massacre didn't just leave thousands of keen investors millions out of pocket. It also sent many spiraling into a dark mental health hole. That's a that's a crazy set of words in a row, man. Dark mental health holes. Some so bad they even attempted suicide. Others were forced to hide in their homes. Hey, Shalakia for laughing, but that's funny. Others were forced to hide in their homes as their friends furiously attempted to confront them. And that's the thing with people, man, right? Like people are scumbags, man, because these people, if they would have made money from this stuff, wouldn't have had a problem with it, right? But because they trusted these people and then it didn't work, now they got a problem. But when it was making money for them, they probably wasn't saying nothing. And they was probably making out like it was their idea to do these things. And that's why even the people that are going to get deceived have been deceived by these false prophets, they ain't really got an excuse because you can open up the Bible and read it for yourself. So if you've got some false pastor telling you that Moab was the father of Abraham, right? Or telling you that the 144,000 are Jehovah's Witnesses, well, you can open up the Bible for yourself and see that that's not true, can't you? You can see that that's not true for yourself. And just like how Dave was deceiving you, well, you was deceived, and both of you was made to be in those positions by Yahweh. Just like how these people with this crypto, they was made to be deceived because they was trusting in people that didn't know what they was talking about. Job chapter 12 and verse 16, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. So with Yahweh's strength and wisdom, Yahweh knows what he's doing when he made these people lose this money on the crypto. Doesn't matter what we think. This is part of the story of the Israelites getting into the kingdom. This is part of it. People losing millions and entering into dark mental health holes is part of the story. Part of the languishing. Part of people when they won't think that Yahweh's got power, he shows himself. And among them that know it, makes their boldness manifest. Let me read this bit. It says, others were forced to hide in their homes as their friends furiously attempted to confront them, banging on their door, demanding answers and retribution. Now, that's heavy, man, right? Because if that's what people... I got to go back again to it, man, to Zechariah 13. If that's what people was doing because of some cryptos, right, then what are people going to be doing because he was telling them false prophecies about the Lord? So every false prophet out there that's deliberately lying, they literally know what that it says, that the new covenant's for Israel, but they'll somehow use some oratory gymnastics to change it up and try and make it sound like it's saying something else. People are going to be coming for them in that day, that they've deceived and that they was taking the tithe money from them. Like there was recently a preacher, I think it was in America, that there's a fight broke out in the church because they was asking for each member of the congregation to give him $1,000. You know how insane that is to ask. Like people have just got Jake's just got $1,000 out here to give. Like, what if they got a congregation of if they got a congregation of 10 people, that's 10,000 that they're expecting to receive, man. But most churches have a congregation way bigger than that, and they're asking each member for $1,000. That's ridiculous. But like I said, just that, like how people are looking for their family and friends that told them about cryptos and stuff like that, and they're coming for them regarding that stuff. There's going to be people that are going to be coming for people regarding the truth. And it's in the Bible. It's a prophecy that's written, and I'm going to read it again. Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 3. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of Yahweh. So people are already getting angry in the world with people speaking lies in the name of cryptos. You're speaking lies in the name of getting money, and they're already losing their mind over that. How much more people are going to lie when they realize that they was receiving lies in the name of the truth about the world? And just like how false prophets are going to get it, Esau is also a false prophet. So he's going to be getting it too. People are going to realize that Esau lied about everything, right? He was telling people that don't worry, there's no need to panic buy and bulk buy tissues, right? He was telling people that there's no need, we've got it sorted, just stick together. And they really, I just saw a video by a brother and they ain't even talking like that no more. They're saying that it's apocalyptic concerning food. So they deceived people previously and was making everyone trust in them, man. Telling people lies, telling people smooth things. And people have been told smooth things for so long that when they realize that it's not smooth, they're going to turn rough. Let me read this again. And it shall come to pass, verse 3, and it shall come to pass, when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of Yahweh. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesieth. So he might start talking, and he's just going to get hurt. Verse 4, and it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision when he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. So they're going to be ashamed for lying. But it's going to be too late. Everyone's going to realize that they was lying to them, and they're going to cause them harm, man, because they're going to know that they was lying to them about what's going on. Just like how people was lied to regarding this crypto. There's many people that was proud regarding money, and they've lost it all. And they're trying to walk outside, trying to act like they've got it together. Oh, it will bounce back. It always does. The market always bounce. Nah. There's going to come a time when it don't bounce back. This one ain't bounced back, has it? It's gone to zero. They said it's worthless. That ain't bounced back. Since the lockdowns came, has that bounced back? Have things bounced back from when the lockdown started in 2020? Has that bounced back? Is it back to the same as it was back then? No, it's not. The pride levels are not exactly the same. People are trying to fake the funk, but there's still always that little bit of insecurity that they got now. Like, oh, I remember I witnessed that though. I remember I saw that. People are still on that wearing masks when they're outside, or wearing masks when they're driving their car by themselves. People are still doing that kind of stuff, wearing masks when they don't even need to anymore. So the pride's not there like that. Verse 4, and it shall come to pass in that day that a prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision when he have prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive, but he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a husbandman, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And you always see it in these movies, man. In these end of times movies, there's this one with Nicolas Cage. I think it's called Left Behind. And it's like an end times movie, right? And in this, and there's many other movies, man. I think there's a movie, I think it's called God Is Not Dead. And it shows that there's always certain preachers and certain pastors and certain vicars or whatever that don't get beamed up or don't get saved from the situation that they make occur in the movie, right? And he always says, I'm not no prophet. Or he always says that I used to speak the word, but I didn't really have faith in it. He always say something like that. He'll always have been talking it, but didn't really believe it, man. And that's why they had the smooth face. That's why they was bacon sandwiching it up. That's why they was committing adultery. That's why they was pretty much saying that the laws of Yahweh are done away with. So they didn't think that the moral code of the Bible was necessary to follow. But if the moral code of the Bible is not necessary to follow, then what type of way are you living? You're obviously living in a wicked way if you're not following the moral code of the Bible. The scriptures say, he that forsakes the law of the Lord praises the wicked. And that's in Proverbs the 28th. You know what? Let's read it. Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 4. They that forsake, I've misquoted it a little bit. Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with him. But these Christians don't even accept the moral code. They don't say, oh, it's difficult to follow all of it, but I'm going to try and keep as much as I can to the best of my ability. They'll say, you don't have to follow any of it. That's how they get down. You don't have to follow nothing. None of it. None of it's necessary. That was back in the day. That was the Old Testament. Oh, that was for the Jews. But then they'll say that they're part of the 144,000. Or they'll say it's neither Jew nor Greek. Or they'll say that they're spiritual Israel. So they're a spiritual Israel that don't have to keep the spiritual laws. It's all over the place, their doctrine. It's all over the place. They'll say, I'm part of the Israel of God. Well, then how come you ain't keeping Israel's laws then? What about that? How come you ain't keeping the ones you can keep? The ones that take more effort to not follow than they do to follow. Like I'm going to say again, the beard and the pork. All you have to do to not eat pork, really, is not buy it. It's not going to magically end up inside of your fridge or in your house or under the grill or in your oven or in your burger or on top of your chicken. You know, it's not going to accidentally end up on your plate. You have to deliberately go out of your way to make that happen. Now I'm going to go back and read this again. And Salakia, if this video's too long, but whoever it's for, it's for. If even one person sees the lesson, then Tawari Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let me read this again. It says, others were forced to hide in their homes as their friends as their friends furiously attempted to confront them, banging on their door, demanding answers and retribution. On the subreddit for Terra Luna, the main place of discussion for the self-destructed lunatics, one terrified investor today asked for advice. My friends who I recommended to Luna all hate me now, they wrote. Many angry calls and loud knocking at my door from former friends I told to buy Luna early. I feel like SHIT, we all lost our life savings and they have kids. What do I do? Well, if you believed in the Lord, then you wouldn't be too sorrowful for that, man. Right? And if these friends would have used wisdom and not putting money in there that they think that they can lose, right, that they're not prepared to lose, then they wouldn't have had this problem. But this is what people are doing just because of some cryptocurrency. How much more people are going to be doing this stuff when they was getting told the MOTB, the mark in Revelation 13, is a 666 tattoo? That's what some Christians believe. It's a tattoo. Or what are they going to do when they find out that the mark isn't a so-called white woman? What are they going to do then? What are they going to say when they realize that the mark is what the apostles were saying and what their brothers of Great Millstone were saying and everybody that believes in that doctrine? What are they going to say then? What are they going to say, man? People are going to come looking for them. And Apostle Tahar and Apostle Gabar and Apostle Arayamlab and Apostle Rakar, they always say this, that people are going to lose their mind, especially Apostle Tahar, he says that people are going to lose their mind when they realize that they've been lied to. And here's an example of it in real time. This is what people did regarding crypto, right? How much more with regarding the truth of the Lord, when people actually really realize that Yahweh is somewhere that we cannot go, deciding what's going to happen in everyone on earth's life, not some people's, everyone's. And that you knew that and lied to them deliberately because you was getting some money. Let me read this again. It says, many angry calls and loud knocking at my door from former friends. So you already know what they was going to do if the door opened. I know you're in there. Boom, 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 boom. I know you're in there. Come out and speak to me like a man, you coward. You know, you already know. You already know how Esau gets down. Max, are you in there? Hey, Salakia, man. You already know how Esau gets down, though, man. Derek, I could see you hiding behind that sofa, you coward. Get out and face me like a man, you mag. You already know how Esau goes on, man. Salakia, man. But it's funny that to see these people lose these things, man, because this world hates us. And this world has always been telling us that we're losers and that we're bums. But all the people that wasn't losers and bums and that understood the financial systems of this world, they're going to end up in the same position as us. Broke too. They're going to end up not rich. They're going to end up with nothing. The same way they said, we ain't got nothing, man. But the difference between us and them is, what did Bane say to Batman, man? What did Bane say to Batman? Bane said to Batman something along these lines. He said, you merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it, right? Now, I ain't saying that the Israelites was born in darkness, but I'm saying it like this. We're used to hard times, right? We're used to having like £20 maybe to feed our family at a young age. £20 left there to last for the whole rest of the week. To the electric tokens going out. And then you have to burn a candle until you got money to do that. You know what I mean? What did Adrian Broner say, man? I come from the bottom. The trench is the gutter. I'm talking about watering cornflakes. That's what he said. Now, some people some Edomite that heard that, they were like, watering cornflakes? What on earth is he talking about? Hasn't he heard of milk? No, well, there weren't no milk, obviously, in them times. And Jakes know about that. Hot water on some cornflakes. We know about that, man. Esau don't know about that. Esau don't know what corned beef tastes like. Some Edomites haven't ever tasted tuna from a can before. Some Edomites don't know what sardines are, right? But they're gonna find out though. Some Edomites ain't never been in Aldi. They ain't been in there. They ain't been in Lidl. They ain't ever bought no genetically modified type food, no processed foods. They've been eating good. In fact, some of them don't even know how to cook because they normally just go to the restaurant. But Yahweh's going to take all of that stuff away from them, man. Let me read this again, man, because this is a real heavy point to let these people know. You know what? Let me go to a scripture. Salakia. Let me go to a scripture, man. There's so much that can be said on this topic for all these people that are proud regarding funds. But look at it now. And more is going to be lost, though. There's going to be so many people that have got certain finances invested in America. But when that whole landmass gets destroyed, all of that funds that they had is going to be taken away with it. The stocks that they had and the companies that was associated with that country are going to be gone. But there's still going to be people alive in all these other countries in the world. And they're going to be like, man, my money's gone. And they're going to be weeping and mourning because of that. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom. Don't glory because you're smart. Let not the rich man, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Don't glory because you're tough and you go gym. Oh, I'm on a mean program. I've been on this 6 week training program, and it's gonna increase my 1 minute max by at least, at minimum, 15%. There's people that's how people go on, man. They got the whole protein. They've worked out their macros. Some of these people have got it so good that they even work out their micronutrients that they need, man. They're like these athletes. All these athletes that get paid. They got a whole regimen where they wake up certain times in the day, go to sleep certain times in the day, go in them hydraulic baths, them ice baths, right? To try and increase their recovery rate so that they can work out even more and train even more time throughout the day. They got a massage therapist, some beautiful woman massaging them down after each session. Verse 23 again, thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this. So this is where you can glory. That he understandeth and knoweth of me, that I am Yahweh. Let me read that again. But he understandeth and knoweth of me, that I am Yahweh, that exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahweh. So Yahweh doesn't delight if a man's glorying in his riches. He doesn't delight if a man's glorying in his wisdom. He doesn't delight if a man's glorying in his might. But he does glory, right? He does get delight if a man glories in how he understands Yahweh. Because we understand that Yahweh kills and makes alive, that Yahweh gives you food, really. Now, all these people bugging out because they lost money, right? The money does not decide if you eat. Food exists separate from money. That's what people don't understand. And I remember before, there was one Edomite scoffer before, when the brothers was teaching in the London camp, and he was like asking people what their job they do for work and all of this. And one of the brothers told him, the Lord feeds me. And this Edomite couldn't understand that concept, man. He still just kept wanting to know what job was going on and what their job was and all of this. But I wonder what he's saying now, because he would have definitely lost some things during this time. He would have went through the lockdowns. He would have went through the job losses. And he, more than likely, if he was a person that thinks that money's the main thing to have in life, he more than likely would be losing some money right now on cryptocurrencies or on stocks. Considering he thought that what job you have means so much. Well, then how would he feel in this world now that's been affected by inflation? And just to say a topic on inflation, this is a small thing. It might seem like a small thing, but there was a certain price in a certain item that I've seen's gone up 60%, right? 60%. It used to be, in fact, no, Salaki, it's 70%. It used to be £1, and now it's like either £1.60 or £1.70. So that's either a 60 to 70% increase in price in the last like 3 months, man. Now imagine if every single item goes up by 60 to 70%. That means that the amount of shopping that you can buy is going to be halved. Or you're going to have to take that money from somewhere else to be able to buy the same amount of food as you used to. Because as these prices are going up, which really is the money going down, as the apostles and brothers have been teaching us, and as we may know from certain other things and all these other financial channels that brothers and apostles guide us towards to understand these things, right? It's really the money going down in value. That's why you need more to buy certain things. But people trusted in this system, and it's got them nowhere. And I've mentioned this scripture in this lesson, so let me read this. Let me read this scripture here. Because if some of these things are going to affect our lives, and we might feel a bit of sorrow for it or whatever, but at the end of it, we're really hoping for the kingdom anyway. So we understand that this system has to fall for ours to build, so that the new heavens and the new earth can come. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, I'm going to go straight to the point, and verse 8. What have pride profited us, or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? Though all those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by. Did it not say that people lost their money in 24 hours? Let me go back and find that. Let me see if I can find that. Here we go. The cryptocurrency had its entire value wiped out in less than 24 hours last week. That sounds like a post, and as a shadow, and that sounds like Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 8 to 9, if you ask me. What have pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? All those things have passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by. 24 hours ago, you might have had £1 million in £1 million worth of a so-called asset. 24 hours goes by, you ain't got nothing. And there's a particular rule that people say when it comes to these types of things: just buy and hold and don't look at it for a year. Well, they would have said that buy and hold and don't look at it for a year thing, and then they would have woke up and they would have heard everybody else scrambling around, and then they might have been like trying to keep calm for a while, and then they would have heard and seen an alert maybe on their phone or something like that it's gone down to zero, and realized that they've lost $1 million in a day. All their savings that they had lost in a day. All their desires and things that they thought they was going to do with that money gone in 24 hours. Just like how America is going to lose all of its glory, and all the people that trust in America and that have made money from America are going to lose everything that they've got desired in that place in 1 hour. And let me read it again. Because you Babylonians, which is me referring to you American Edomites, man, right? All you Babylonians that are in Babylon the Great, all you Egyptians in a place that is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt and Sodom, you're going to lose all of your stuff too. They're going to lose all of their stuff too, man. Let me get this. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of earth burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust upon their head, and they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein all were made rich. And there's people crying right now, saying, oh man, I had my life savings in that crypto. Well, there's some people that have got their life savings in America. They might have been like, oh, this particular city in America is going to be popping in the next 20 years. So I'm going to buy property there. But the property is going to get destroyed. And it might be some like Ishmaelite or some Persian, right? And they might have all this money in property in America. But when America gets destroyed, their property is going to be destroyed along with it. And all the money that they put inside of that is going to be gone also. And it's not going to come back. Verse 19 again. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. So in 1 hour, America is going to be made desolate, whereas in 24 hours, all these people's funds was made desolate that trusted in this crypto. Now let me carry on reading. It says, I've already read that bit. It says Terra Luna, which is one of the world's top few cryptocurrencies, began to falter on May 8th. What's the date now? What are we on? So that's like almost 2 weeks ago, 12 days. Falter on May 8th, with many investors cutting their losses and selling off their coins. So some people didn't lose all of their money. They was a bit more wise than others, you know? Similar to a run on the banks, the sell-off triggered a death spiral, making the cryptocurrency worthless. So the people that would have sold first are the people in the know, the elites behind the scenes that own these things, right? Then the people that are kind of a bit more rich but not really in the circle of Esau like that would have sold. Then like the middle class people would have sold off theirs. And then the smart lower class people would have tried to sell off theirs. And then they might have ended up losing like maybe, let's say, 75%. And then other people that ended up losing it all, man. And some of these rich people in whatever degree would have lost some of theirs or claim that they have. But really, they've already got the assets and stuff like that behind the scenes anyway. But they're just sad in their face. Oh, I lost it all too. Yeah, me too. I lost mine as well. And they'll be lying. Let me carry on reading this. Similar to a run on the banks, the sell-off triggered a death spiral, making the cryptocurrency worthless. Because if nobody wants to buy it and nobody wants to own it, it's not worth nothing anymore. And this is going to happen with certain stocks too. It says Terra USD, a stable coin. Oh, the irony, a stable coin. How is it a stable coin if it's crashed? But that's ESO for you. That's ESO for you, man. And let me get a scripture, in fact. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 10. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And that's talking about America being destroyed by all of its allies. Verse 17, for Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the word of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And that's what people have did on a lower level. People have put their trust in Esau, right, in his philosophies, in his way, in his image. And it's ended up making them lose. And there's going to be more losses that people are going to receive that's going to cause people to lose their mind. And the more and more losses that people are having is going to cause for people to become seditious among men and not to regard their kings nor princes. So there's going to be some carnal Edomite that's just got a few guns, and he's going to go on a mad one. And some of these times when these Edomites are going to go on a mad one, it's not even necessarily going to be to Esau. It's going to be Satan, casting out Satan in some cases, man. It's going to be Esau on Esau. Now let me carry on reading this. It says, Terra USD, a stablecoin system, was always tied to the US dollar in an attempt to create stability and security for investors. Well, that didn't work, did it? That didn't work. The sudden collapse of both Terra and Luna, wiping billions off its value, just didn't anger investors. It also made many grapple with suicidal thoughts, because the majority of people love money, man. And that's what this world has pushed on people. Love money. Don't care. It doesn't matter what you're doing is moral. If it's getting you money, do it. That's what this world says. And what does Yahweh say to us, though? What has Yahweh told us to be like? Let's see. Let's see what Yahweh told us to be like. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Let me highlight these. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So part of people loving this world would have been people loving this coin and having suicidal thoughts because of it, because of losing all their funds. That would have been part of people loving this world. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So loving and trusting in this financial system is loving the world, because this financial system has been designed by Esau. So it's designed to benefit him. And really, the 1%, the rich Edomite, not even the lower level Edomite, man. Because Esau don't care about these lower level. The way how they're seeing it is we're the elect. They're seeing it is they're the elect of Esau. They're the ones with the hidden knowledge. They're the illuminated ones. They're the light bearers. They're the Lucifers. Which is what Lucifer means. It means light bearer. That's how they see it. Oh, I'm not going to give this information to these lower level Edomite because they're just trying to overthrow us. You already know what we're like as a nation. That's how they see it. We already know what we're like as a nation. They'll try and take it away from us. Because they're already in competition with each other more than likely. And they're higher level anyway. Because Edomites are wicked in general. Verse 17, and the world passeth away. So all of this stuff's going to pass away, and we're seeing examples of it. And the lust thereof, part of the cryptocurrencies and the stocks, that's going to pass away. The currencies that people trust in, that's going to pass away. But he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. So doing the will of Yahweh and trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is more important than how much money you've got in your bank. It's more important than what your basal metabolic rate is. It's more important than your vertical jump. It's more important than how much knowledge you have. Oh, I know algebraic equations. Well, that's good to know. There's not nothing wrong with that. But it's better to know the Lord. All that scientific talk and that scientific knowledge and all of these things. That's good to know these things. Knowledge is a good thing. But knowledge of the Lord, the beginning of knowledge is when one fears the Lord. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. That's what the scriptures say. Let me carry on reading this. It says, I lost over 450,000 US dollars. I cannot pay the bank. I will lose my home soon. I'll become homeless. Suicide is the only way out for me now. And really, this person was thinking that they was going to have to live the life that they mocked, seeing so-called black people having, more than likely, man. That's the real thing that they was thinking. I don't want to have to live like how I see so-called black people in America live, homeless, because I know that I used to mock these people in the past. I used to mock these people. So I'd rather not be alive anymore than be like them. Then see people see me like this. Esau ain't got a strong spirit, man. All you have to do to see how weak Esau's spirit is watch any of the many Jane Elliott blue eye, brown eye experiments that she's did. And within like 2 hours, these Edomites acting like they've been in hardcore slavery for generations. They lose their mind, man. The little kids, when she did it on the little children, they lost their mind. They couldn't handle doing certain maths things. They was slower with their learning after one day. After 2 weeks, they was completely gone. They couldn't handle it, man. Esau doesn't have a strong spirit. They can give out the evil, but they don't like it when no evil happens to them. And the scripture said that things are going to come upon them that they shall not be able to put off. And we're seeing events, we're seeing it, man. We're seeing things come upon them that they shall not be able to put off. Now let me carry on reading. I'm going to read that again. It says, this is what one person said, I lost over 450K. I cannot pay the bank. I will lose my home soon. I'll become homeless. Suicide is the only way out for me now. One wrote, I'm going through some of the darkest, most severe mental pain of my life. It still doesn't seem real that I lost 180,000. Well, most Jakes, we ain't never had that amount of money, right? We ain't never had that amount of money as savings. Never mind making that in a year. We ain't getting money like that. We ain't getting money like that, but Jake's used to sorrow. We're used to losing, man. Israelites are used to pain. We're used to losing things. We're used to things not going our own way. We have a job interview a lot of the times as an Israelite, and we just automatically assume that we ain't even got the job as soon as we leave, man. Oh, they're not gonna give it me. My voice was too deep for them. They're not gonna give me the job. They were scared when I came in there, but they're not gonna give me the job. And then if we get the job, right, then we have to tiptoe around in order to not be too manly, because they might try and make us lose the job then. We have to try and pretend like the stupid jokes that they be flying our way ain't getting on our nerves, and all the bothering of us and the testing and the antagonizing that they do to try and make us lose our job. We have to try and dodge that then. Then when it comes to people losing jobs, we already like, man, they're more than likely going to try and get rid of me first, especially if it's a job that's not really high paying in the first place. We're used to that. We're used to people assuming that we ain't got nothing, and we're used to not having nothing. We're used to, if we do have something, for people hating us because we have something and trying to make us lose what we have, and then complaining and mocking us for not having something when they went out of their way to make us have nothing. We're used to all of these things. Esau is not. And let me read this again. I'm going through some of the darkest, most severe mental pain of my life, and these Edomites are going to go through a lot more dark and severe pain than that, and they're going to go through even more greater dark mental health holes than what they're going through now. The curses are coming upon them, man. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7, it says when the curses start getting removed of us, that they're going to go upon all of our enemies. And who's our main enemies? Let's read it. Let's read who our enemies are, right? In fact, let me read that first. Let me go straight to the point. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Nobody don't hate us more than Esau. Esau's the main person that hates us. He's always there whenever we're losing. Whenever there's a scandal about our name, whenever there's a false accusation about us as a nation, as a people, or whether there's somewhere that he can accuse us of something, he'll always be there first. That's what we're seeing with what has he been named? Haman Malone. That's what we're seeing with him. Haman Malone. He's always there whenever there's a scandal regarding some fake false flag person that they've tried to use to make a railing accusation against Israelites. He's always there first. Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, so that's the Edomites, and the Ishmaelites, that's the Ishmaelites. Of Moab, that's the Moabites, and the Hagarenes, that's another way of saying Ishmaelites. Gabal, verse 7, Gabal, that's another way of saying Edomites. And Ammon, that's the Ammonites. And Amalek, that's another way of saying Edomites. That's a different tribe of Edom. The Philistines, that's the Hamites. And the inhabitants of Tyre, that's the Hamites also. Verse 8, Asher is also joined with them, and that's a way for saying the Assyrians. They come from Shem just like how we do. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. So they've been about getting at us, man. But now that it's coming upon them, they're going to be expecting people to feel sorry for them, and to a certain degree, they're going to be held up. Certain Edomites that are extremely rich are going to be held up, but the middle class ones are not going to be. They're going to be joining the people that they once mocked, while they was pretending that there was a member of the royal family, pretending that they're an oligarch like the rest of Esau, and they're not really. When they was boasting in their financed car. But let's see how much you're going to boast in your financed car when the prices of petrol end up going to £2 in the UK. When the price of diesel goes to £2.50. Let's see if you're going to be flexing then. A lot of you are going to be having to pull out the bike helmet and the pedal bike, man. Damn devils. Let me read this. It says, bro, my littlest brother lost his entire net worth of £350. Gone like that. I've lent him. Oh, still okay. Hey, that's funny, man. Your brother loses 350,000 and you lend him 5k. That don't mean that ain't gonna mean nothing to him, man. That's not even 10% of what he lost. And he might pretend to be grateful, but he's gonna be like, man, and he might have been proud to his brother previously. But some people ain't gonna have a brother some of these people that have lost money ain't got a brother that can lend them even £100, man. Some of these Edomites that have lost all this money. Let me read that again. Bro, my little brother lost his entire net worth of £350. Gone like that. I've lent him 5k and he's moved in with me. A third wrote. In another story after the crash, an investor... Now, here's something that I heard about this. Let me just go into something that I heard about this cryptocurrency stablecoin that will make people understand a bit more why people invested so much money into it. What I heard is that for owning this coin, you got given interest, or you got given pretty much like a dividend type thing. And I think that the dividend, or the amount of money that you got paid back for owning this annually, was like 20%. So somebody like this person that lost 350,000 would have bought £350,000 worth of this stable coin that's supposed to stay at a fixed price, right? That was what the idea with this thing. It's supposed to stay at a fixed price. This is what I've heard. And it makes sense as to why so many people own so much of it and such large amounts have lost. So they would have owned this so-called stable coin and put so much money into it because annually they will get 20% of whatever they put in. So this person here that lost 350,000 would have thought, well, okay, I'm going to buy 350,000 of this, and then that's going to pay me out 70,000 annually. I can live off that. And then they'll think that they've got this digital asset that they can always dive into at any point to take money out, but then at the same time get paid for owning it. So there's no need to take it out. But that, to be honest, sounds too good to be true. And it was. And it was. Let me carry on reading this. It says, in another story after the crash, an investor begged people to seek out mental health support after their own friend tried to take their own life. Now, here it is that people have got all this emotion, right? People have got all this emotion and this sorrow for people losing money on stocks, right? But when it came to the slavery of us, the Israelites, they never had no care. Oh, get over it. It wasn't, you've never been through slavery. Get over it. You're never gonna have revenge. These are the kind of things that they used to say, man, and still do think. But tattooing, painting on a assault rifle, here's your reparations, and shooting up old age pension of so-called black people. That's what Esau's doing, right? Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 3. No, that's not the scripture I was looking for. This is Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? And people should be paying, you Israelites should be, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, I'm going to call you that, in fact. I'm never going to call you Israelites when I make this statement. You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans should be paying attention to how everyone is trying to have mercy on all these other people, but never had no mercy for you. When the war in Ukraine was happening, this is real sorry for me because there's people in with blonde hair and blue eyes becoming to harm and all that. That's how they was talking. But when it came to you, they was like, man, that's what it's supposed to be. They was even saying it on the news regarding like all these Arabs and Middle Eastern nations, and that they were saying, oh, this isn't like a Middle Eastern country like a Iran or a Libya. This is a more westernized European style country. That's how they was talking. Basically, like, how can something like this be happening to Edomites? These Edomites don't understand that. They don't understand why this is happening to them. They don't get it. They're confused, man. There's no more wisdom among them. Let me get it. They're losing all their wisdom, man. This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to pull it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. And we're seeing some of it right now. And the elites are doing this stuff deliberately, but it's going to cause for them to be ensnared. Like, they really think that they're doing all of this stuff and it's bringing them closer to what they want. But they're stupid. They're not wise. They're fools. Children of basement. Because this stuff's causing really for Yahweh's will to come to pass. Not theirs. But Yahweh's wrote in his plan what Esau thinks he needs to do to achieve. That's written in what Yahweh wants. So Esau's going to be doing his things on the left-hand side, thinking he's achieving his goals, but he's really just achieving what Yahweh wants him to do, so that Yahweh can now be justified in destroying him, according to the ways that he's written is what he will destroy a man for doing. The hurtful works are soon going to be fulfilled. Now let me carry on reading this. It says, in another story after the crash, another investor begged people to seek out mental health support after their own friend tried to take their own life. My friend and ex-colleague, my manager for 15 years, tried to commit suicide this morning. He basically moved all of his savings into crypto in 2021. And Luna was a massive player in his portfolio, they wrote. So he would have been putting his money into crypto because of the whole inflation thing anyway. He would have thought in his mind that I can escape inflation, maybe. He might I'm not going to say definitely thought this, but other things that have been happening in the world has been a reason why people are putting their money into cryptos and stocks anyway. Because the way how they see it is, okay, If I had 100,000 in my bank, or I have 350,000 in my bank account, right? But the inflation's going up. Well, then that 350,000, depending on how much this money goes up in value, down in value, is not really 350,000 anymore. So I'm keeping my money in there, and even though I'm not touching it and I'm not using it, it's actually losing value. So I'm going to do the smart thing, which is what they would have thought they was doing. I'm going to do the smart thing and put my money inside of these cryptos, or put my money inside of these stocks. But then when the stock crumbles and crashes, now they've lost it all. Whereas if they would have kept it in the bank account, they would have kept some. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter soon wherever you've put your funds. You've trusted in the wrong thing and you're going to lose. And this is a message to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out there, man. You so-called black people, as they call you. You so-called Mexicans, you so-called Latinos, you so-called Native Americans, you so-called Red Indians. You're not none of those titles. You're Israelites. And Salakia for this lesson being so long. Let me see how long it is. I don't even know. I don't even know how long I've been. That's not even that long, man. Let me carry on talking. That's not that long. It's a bit longer than I normally would do a lesson for, but it's not even that long. This is an important topic anyway for whoever wants to hear. Let me carry on. It says, my friend and colleague, my manager for 15 years, tried to commit suicide this morning. He basically moved all of his savings into crypto. He's moved all of his savings to crypto in 2021, and Luna was a massive player in his portfolio. So there would have come a time where that was making him money. He might have been up, because in 2021 there was a time where a lot of the cryptos and a lot of the stuff like that was going up. It went up big. Certain stocks in the crypto in the lockdown went up big, but then they've went down. They've went down now. So people that would have bought them early, some people would have made money from it, but some people would have let greed make them lose. But if you're an Israelite and you're one of those people that might have lost money, well, you're not going to really care, because you understand that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai gives and takes away. But an Edomite or any heathen doesn't understand that. They think that glory comes from money and funds and glorying in yourself. But we don't think like that. Let me carry on reading. It says, just wanted to tell you guys, if you feel pain and think your life is miserable without money, you feel failure and stuff, just come to people you love. Don't be alone. This SHIT is getting serious. Do not overestimate the value of money. Life has a much higher value, but Esau don't think that though. Esau don't trust that. Esau don't believe in that like nice talk. Esau trusts in money, carnal things, the sword, having as much money as you can, which is the reason for all this greed anyway. Which is the reason for all this inflation. They made a society that makes a man not be able to even feed his family, makes a man not be able to do certain things. They make it illegal for people to grow their own crops. They make food seedless. They hoard everything to themselves. So what do you think was going to happen? All of this whole inflation thing and all of this people losing all this money on stocks is really just a wealth transfer. Because all the people that put money into this crypto, right, that money's gone somewhere. They're saying that this thing's gone down to the value of zero. All the money that people put into this thing buying it, it's gone somewhere. It's in someone's bank account. Someone's got that money. It ain't just magically disappeared. Money don't disappear. There's a quote from the TV show The Wire, and the one character says, money doesn't have any owners, just spenders. But that's not really even true, because money does have owners. It does have owners. And the wealth's been transferred from one people to another, man. The wealth's been changing hands, and it's changed hands from all those people that lost billions, and it's gone into the hands of others. And eventually it might go up a little ping, like it might go up like a 5% or whatever, and then they'll sell it again and then do the thing again, man. Because they manipulate and own the majority of all of these things, they can easily manipulate it whenever they choose. So it's not worth trusting in. For all you Israelites out there that are hearing this or that might see this, it's not worth trusting in this money system. It's not worth it. Trust not doesn't the scripture say, trust not in uncertain riches? Let me read this. It says, do not be alone. This SHIT is getting serious. Do not overestimate the value of money. Life has a much higher value. I do not post to Reddit at all, but I considered it important to do it. Wish you all good luck, and it's gonna get worse, man. Right? It's gonna get worse, and all these people that were scoffing, being proud as hell, they're gonna have shame in their eye, man. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. They're feeling some of it right now. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's happening right now. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So because there's going to be a lack of food in the world, people are going to lose their mind towards people that they once cared about, man. Them two brothers that I mentioned, that he lost 350,000 and he lent his brother 5k, right? Really, if he was being brotherly, he wouldn't have even told nobody that. That's between him and his brother. How much money he lent him. Nobody else don't need to know that. That's no one else's business, to be honest with you. Let me carry on reading, because there's a scripture that says, and therefore they that labor, here we go. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 45. And therefore they that labor in vain. So trusting in all of these riches and all of this stuff ain't going to get these people nowhere, because it's going to become like a post-apocalyptic movie in the world. That's where it's going. And I think I've beat this lesson over the head enough now. I'm going to end the lesson there. But this is a good article, man. I'm more than likely going to carry on reading this when the lesson's done, because it's an interesting article going into how these people are losing it all, man. And let me go up to the top so that people can find it if they want to find it for themselves. There's the title. Just type in cryptocurrency or crypto investors suicide Daily Mail, and you'll find the article for yourself, right? I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.